Hey friends, it's Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. Today I'm going to share with you some Christmas journals that I made to put in my shop when I open on Sunday, October 1st. I wasn't intending on doing Christmas journals, but I ran across my December journal that I did back in 2008, and as I got to flipping through it, I just kind of got that sentimental feeling, and I thought I would make a few for my shop and kind of do some of the things, replicate some of the things that I did when I made this journal many years ago. So as you can tell, this journal is very well worn. It is very packed. I actually started this year that I did this in 2008. I actually started this journal back in November. So I think I started like the day of Thanksgiving, which I feel like that's this picture right here. Like we had a picture of us eating Thanksgiving. Yeah, so there was Thanksgiving right there. So I actually started mine before Thanksgiving. I know, see, like it's falling apart because we've looked at it so many times. I know that a lot of people do the journaling prompt where you put something in like every day of December, and I think I tried that this year. I tried to put something in every day, but I'll be honest with you, not every day was unicorns and rainbows and stuff like that. So I skipped some days, but even though I skipped days, I still had tons of things to put in this journal, and that's why it became just so full. And like this was a Starbucks bag that I used as paper, and these were some Christmas ornaments I had made that year with pictures of my dad. It was kind of a joke. And I used, oh, that was one of our Christmas trees. I used these 2-inch ring binders that you can pull apart, like I could open them up, because I knew that I would not be able to keep everything, you know, in perfect order, and I knew I would skip stuff and I'd want to go back and add more things. So that's why I used these binders, and I knew these binder rings, and I knew that I liked them because they were really fat. They were really big. Like this was our grocery list for Christmas dinner, and cookies. Oh my gosh, there's always so many cookies. So the thing I loved about this journal was I had a old little golden book that had fallen apart. I actually had a couple of them, and this was actually before I started using books as my journals. So I had some old little golden books that had fallen apart, like this thing is falling apart. And I believe one of them was my absolute favorite Christmas book, which is the little golden book, Jingle Bells. And ever since I was a little kid, this has been my absolute favorite Christmas story. And I love, there's a lot of my love. I love the Santa's Toy Shop one. Anyway, I remember as kids, my brother and I would get books right before Christmas, and they were little golden books, and that's what just made me want to use these books in my December journal or my Christmas journal. And so this kind of was my inspiration for my December journal that I made back in 2008. And then this is definitely my inspiration for the journals that I made for my shop. So these journals are going to be a little different than what you may be used to in my shop, because I'm not hand sewing the signatures in. What I am doing is using O-wire binding. I'm using my Zutter Bind It All. And the reason why is because I want to keep the stories intact. I want you to be able to read the story and scrapbook and document your memories and journal and all that good stuff. Like I want it all in one thing. And the best way to do that, the easiest way to do that, is to put in a binding like this so that I can keep the pages in order and you can still read the story. And these stories that I picked for the 4 Christmas journals that I have are beautiful, sweet Christmas stories. So this is what it will look like when you get it out of your package after you've unwrapped it. It'll have this old like green ribbon. I remember my hair. I used to put my hair in ribbons like this back in the 1970s. This was the ribbons that I used to use for my hair. But anyway, and this is kind of old, but it'll have a little tag on it. Then I did just a little bit of some embossing. And then you will get a handcrafted envelope pocket type thing that I made out of a cross stitch book, a holiday cross stitch book. And so what I did on this was I actually just took 2 pages together and I sewed them so that you have a pocket on the inside, you have a flap, and then you have a pocket on the outside. And then I cram jammed this baby with tons of stuff. So I'll pull out and show you what I put in here. And like I said, I cram jammed it. Like, I could not stop. There was so much stuff I was putting in here. So you'll have some book pages, some leftover papers and cardstocks, and I tried to coordinate the papers with what was in the journal, so you might have some of the similar pages, you might have some different, and then some smaller book pages, and then some wrapping paper. And then on the outside pocket, oh, I'm excited about the outside pocket. So again, more, oh man, there's all kinds of stuff. More trims and scraps from the actual book that I made. I put in some little strings so you can tie your tags and stuff. Kind of wanted this to be like a journal on the go type thing, so you really wouldn't have to have too much other stuff to complete your journal. And then check this out. I found this at a thrift store yesterday. I don't know what it is. I got like 4 packs of it for 25 cents. Like 25 cents for all 4 packs. And it must be like adhesive because it comes with this sticky back. So I don't know here. Yep, it's adhesive. So I don't know how sticky it is because they're pretty old, but I threw some of that in there. And then, you know, my obsession with vintage stickers. I'm just like obsessed with them. So I had, some are vintage, some are not, but I have a ton of stickers, you know, Christmas ones that I've just collected forever and ever and ever. So what I did was I just sat down and I cut them all apart and then stuck them in a big bag and then just grabbed from the bag and would stuff the envelope full of, you know, these stickers. Some are from the 80s, some are from the 90s, some are from the 2000s, some are scratch and sniff, like this one. Oh, yeah. And just threw in, I don't know, just all kinds of, some book pages, Christmas book pages that I die cut. Just threw in all kinds of random little bits that, you know, might find a happy little home in your Christmas journal rather than sitting in my room collecting dust. So that's going to be the Christmas package that comes with it, that you'll be able to put your own journal stuff in if you want to journal on the go, or use all the stuff that I've sent. And also, just a little side note, I made these to go with the journals, but I have tons more Christmas ephemera. I have more than I even put in here. And if you guys would be interested in me putting together some packs and then setting these in my shop, let me know, because I enjoyed putting these little packs together. This one is ABC for Christmas, and I went crazy with fabric and trim on the covers. This is all the fabric and trim that I have. I just literally dumped everything out on the floor and just started picking things up and piecing them together. And I have figured out how to put book covers through my sewing machine. So these are all stitched on, so they shouldn't come off unless, you know, you ripped the stitches off or something. And then this one has vintage tissue paper, or actually I think this was just some really thin wrapping paper, this vintage wrapping paper, probably from the 60s or so, and it's really pretty. So these are all kind of the same, so let me talk you through this one and then I'll fast forward through the other ones. So you'll have 48 pages, the original book pages, some cardstock. I put vintage wrapping paper or just some thrift store wrapping paper. And then these little money envelopes, each journal has one of these sewn in. So this could be like a little pocket right here, and then this could be a pocket right here. I have a lot of Christmas tags, so I stuck those in there, and then scrapbook paper. So you'll notice that this page is kind of thick with my wrapping paper, the vintage wrapping paper, and just wrapping paper in general. Because it's so thin, I don't like to just put them in the journals because the paper will rip. So I glue them to the back of scrapbook paper, and then I'll stitch around the sides. And it's labor intensive, but to me it is worth it because you get a nice, thick, sturdy piece of paper that you could, you know, write on with a marker or add some paint to or use some glue, and it'll hold up, you know, really, really well. Vintage calendar pages. So this one's 1978. The illustrations in this book were just delicious. I loved them. I like 1960s, 1970s colors. Okay, so then I made these little fun bag thingies. I don't know. Oh my gosh, they're just so cute. So these bags, I actually pulled out of the trash. I'm a teacher, and so some of my supplies that I used for an activity that I did with my kids the other day, the materials come in these little bags and they get thrown away. So every year I do this activity, I always collect the bags, and I've always thought, what could I do with these bags? So I have all kinds of these just little random bits, like there's a bell, there's some pom-poms, some buttons, some sequins. I found some of these old, they're like ribbon shaped sequins, and some letters and stuff. And so I just stuck those in there. You can kind of hear the bell a little bit. So I tied them. You could definitely open them and pull the stuff out or put your own stuff in, or you could just leave it in there like a little decoration, like a, I think they call it a little shaker window thing. So that would be kind of cool. Wrapping paper, again, I glued this on the back of some scrapbook paper, and same thing with this ledger paper. Some postcards or Christmas cards that I found, and I don't know the company they're from. I want to say Current because this looks like something that Current would have done. These little Christmas trivia cards, holiday shopping list, all this stuff that I found was thrifted stuff or stuff that I have found at sales or just stuff I've collected over the years. I will say this, full disclosure, the sequins and pom-poms, I did get those at Dollar Tree, so those are new. But everything else is just kind of old found stuff. This is from a December 1963 Christmas, like a highlights type of book. Sewed some trim and some lace, tried to make these really thick and chunky. I have a lot of these Christmas tags, and these were the ones that they were actually before they were self-adhesive, and I remember these being on my Christmas presents, and my mom would tape them. So I tried to sew a lot of these into the books. Some little felt die cuts, fabrics that maybe weren't Christmas fabrics, but just kind of went with the color scheme. Some smaller book pages, coloring book pages. Again, because they're thinner, I glued them and sewed them onto the back of scrapbook paper. Some music paper. Some Christmas postcards, sewed a little card into this one. And like, look at the colors. That is just so beautiful. The illustrations in this book, and like I said, I bound them this way so that you can read the story. I think the stories are precious, and that's kind of how I like to do my little golden books. Is I like to bind them so that you can read the story. If I can find a little golden book where the story is intact, I think they're too precious to destroy. So I like to keep them intact, and that's why I use the O-wire binding. A little stamp, because it's so easy for you to keep that story intact. And then sometimes I'll find little golden books and they can't be salvaged, like the stories, you know, the pages are ripped or it's missing some of the pages, and so then I just go ahead and I hand stitch those signatures in. So this is an old, do you remember Paint with Water? It was like coloring books, but they already had little bits of ink, and you would just wet your paintbrush and you would paint it, and then the color would bleed through. So this was a Christmas one. I think it had like 8 pages in it. So I put one of these in each of the books, and I did not try them, so I don't know if the ink works. I thought I would leave that for you to see if it works. And then this was just some cellophane I had. Whenever we open presents at my house, my kids hate it because I go around and I scavenge all of the wrapping paper and all of the wrapping and ribbons because I just, it breaks my heart to see that stuff go in the trash. So yeah, this is just a lot of this is stuff that I've collected from Christmas opening, gift times, and all that good stuff. These are just some pages from a little Hallmark book about Christmas. And then at the back, there's a little envelope. It says, do not open till December 25th. And there's just a little tag in there. This is not vintage. And then here's the back of it. So I sewed again with some trim and some lace. And this looks like some crochet. And so yeah, so this is the journal. Now I know it looks really chunky and it's kind of got that alligator feel to it. Here's the deal with the O-wire binding books. Because they are bound over here, I can't sew anything over here. So all of my sewing and adding of the good stuff was over here. So it makes it lopsided. But what I do whenever I use one of these books, because I don't want to use a book that I'm already going to outgrow, right? So the thing is that I used a 1.5 inch or 1 1/4 inch O-wire binding. And let's say that these are photos and there's 50 of these in here. So the test I always do is I say, okay, if I had 50 photos and they were stacked one on top of the other, how much space would that take up? So I just open up to a page and I'm going to stick that right there. And then you can see I still have room to groove. There's still room to put stuff in because the bulk is all over here. I still have room over towards the spine to add all of my good stuff. So I know it appears like it's a little lopsided. It's just because this is where all the trims and everything are. But when you stick, like I stuck a stack of 50 cards in there to represent photos, and I still have a little bit of room there. So on this particular book, there was some writing in the book when I got it. And I didn't take the writing out. I left it in there. Now you are welcome to take it out or cover it up with stickers. I thought this added to the character of the book because the whole point is these are all, you know, mostly repurposed items. And so I left the inscription, the little writing. There wasn't a lot, but I did leave it in the book. So I just want to make you aware that you will see some writing from 1992 in this book. right, guys, there you go. These are the 4 Christmas journals that I am going to put in my shop. They will be in the shop when my shop opens on Sunday, October 1st, and I'm thinking I'm going to do like a 7 a.m. Central Standard, Kansas City, Missouri, USA time. I am super excited about my shop opening. I'm going to do a separate video to show you all the new things that I have in my shop because I have been working so hard to update and revamp my entire shop. I have new sections. I have some new journals. I have some things that are not journals that I am totally excited to share with you guys. I just wanted to do one for these guys just because I know I wanted to go into, you know, detail and stuff and show you guys all the little things about them. So this will go up tonight. This is Friday. And my shop update video will go up Saturday night. I just can't wait to share it with you guys. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.